The OPP may be mad at CANACE, the McGuinty government may be mad at CANACE, but the entire court system is not going to throw its arms up because they don't like CANACE. So we've already been able to get judges to agree with us. We have another case before the judge on September the 3rd. We actually are asking the judge to rebuke the Crown for how it acts in court. We've given them 10 different examples. We're asking the judge to rebuke the Crown. Basically, that's the fundamentals of what we're asking. That the judge will willfully rebuke the Crown for the way they act in the camera meetings. The other thing we're going to be asking on September 3rd, if this Crown has already been shown to share sealed documents, we're making a motion that we can file all our cases outside of just this jurisdiction. I'm asking to move everything over to York Regional Police, which will be Newmarket, a lot of driving, but it will give us completely different crowns, completely different police. And if this Crown here is willfully prepared to break the rules to protect police officers, then they're no longer independent. Okay? So those cases will be heard before a judge. They can't stop it. They can't stop the evidence being presented. And they have no legal right to be doing some of the things they're doing. End of story. These extortion charges, we will go before a judge in order that they be reinstated. There is a process to do that. The Crown was already informed we were going to be doing it. And the Crown will have to answer why they refused to get the evidence from the OPP, or why they refused to get additional evidence from us, and why they just dropped the case without looking at the evidence. So we have a lot of battles. We still have a lot of issues, because the problem isn't just the OPP. The OPP are doing exactly what their political masters have told them to do. The problem is inherent in the system. And only by exposing it will you get the problem solved. Anyways, thank you for your time. I'm hoping that Merlin and I and a couple more may be able to go in and see the new inspector. So far, this is the other thing. You read through the OPP literature, and even the Police Service Act, and even Fantino's speeches. He tries to say that face-to-face talks are better than laying criminal charges. But they have refused since day one to meet with any of the residents about any of their complaints. The day that Doug pulled his truck across the highway on December the 1st last year, we have on video one of the senior officers coming to Doug and makes this statement: "I personally promise you that if you move your truck, you will speak to somebody today." That was videotaped 3 months before that as well. Matter of fact, we all stood at the police station in Caledonia probably for at least 2 hours because the police kept telling us somebody's on the way to speak to you. Doug still hasn't had this meeting. The OPP, although they say they want to talk face to face, they will only do that if you are a native protester. Fantino has given his cell phone number out to the native protesters. We have photos of him speaking to Sean Brandt, photos of him speaking to Clyde Palace. But how dare the OPP think that they should have to speak to residents? What is this? If they honestly believe that face-to-face talks is the best way to go about things, then why can't they speak to us? When we go in and we are denied, because we're going to be, we wouldn't be denied if we were native protesters.
It's because natives are the only residents of North America.
Well, that's true.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
So quit your crying and go home.
Oh, there's a nice racist attitude.
Yeah, exactly.
The tide's going to turn. Now you see where
No, don't.
Now you see what racism looks like.
That's exactly right.
Cops even let them park on the road.
In Caledonia, if you want to do a protest on Argyle Street, they'll give you a police escort and shut down the street. If you're a resident and want to do a protest on Argyle Street, they'll bring in 300 officers in the London riot squad. Okay? It's simple. If you believe in equality, it's equality. If people can walk down a road with police escort for 20 minutes, and that's acceptable in a democracy, and I would agree, then why can't somebody else do it? It's a simple question. It's exactly the same question Martin Luther King asked. Is it acceptable for a black person to walk down this street in a neighborhood that's white only? And is it acceptable for the police to arrest the black people because there's racist white people that are about to attack them? And Martin Luther King said no. That you cannot arrest somebody and violate their fundamental rights because somebody else may get violent. That's all we've ever asked. Walk down a road with a Canadian flag, put it up on a hydro pole, which has been agreed upon by the Supreme Court you're allowed to do, and we are become the criminals. Remember, Fantino, it's far better to have face-to-face talks than to lay criminal charges. I'm charged with counseling mischief. So far, I've been to court 22 times for that charge. They're prepared to drop extortion charges, but I can tell you more than one judge has already rebuked the Crown about why are they proceeding with the charge against me. I can tell you that the Crown has actually said to the judge, we have never heard of such a charge. Why? Because I'm a non-native. Because I'm a pain in the ass to them. Because the politicians don't like the fact that we get attention. That is the only reason why charges were laid. In actual fact, when I was arrested, I want to tell you the story. I showed up to this police station. The orders were given to arrest me for assault. Okay, we have that from just what they've been telling us. By the time they actually physically arrest me, they change it to mischief. Okay? Because they believe, and they arrest me 7 days later, that I've actually blocked Argyle Street. That it wasn't Doug, it was me. By the time 2 weeks go by, the superintendent for this whole region is in court with an affidavit saying Gary McHale was charged with mischief. Okay? In court here, they've changed the documentation. I'm charged with counseling mischief. So now that we got from assault to mischief to counseling mischief, 2 months later, they changed the documentation again to counseling mischief that wasn't committed. Okay? I think the next set of documentation is possibility of littering. So they can't make up their mind because they just want to find anything they can find because of my race. If I was a Native person, do you think they would arrest any Native person for counseling mischief? You can block the highway for 6 weeks without a charge. But don't dare say to somebody, hey, maybe you should move your vehicle. Anyways, I think we should wrap it up. And Merlin and I and a couple others who might want to come in should see if the inspector is prepared to speak to us non-natives. And again, we're just providing the OPP a perfect example. If they really believe in equality, then they should be willing to speak to us the same way they would speak to a native protester. Okay? So they have an opportunity to prove me right or prove me wrong, that they're prepared to actually treat us the same. It's up to them. I can't force them. But for 2 years, they keep promising and promising and promising. Merlin was promised by Inspector McLean that he would have a meeting with Fantino, right? McLean was driving up to Aurelia. He was going to arrange the meeting. Well, you can ask Merlin whether the meeting ever took place.
No.
It does not happen. They constantly promise meetings. And as soon as the protest is over, we're not giving you a meeting. Pretty straightforward to me. Anyways, thank you for your time.
Thanks very much.
Does anyone else want to say a few words? Sure, go ahead.